Hello, romance reader friends. Today, we're going to talk about the magic of Menage. Well, let's think about it. I mean, you could have a book with one penis in it, or you could have one with two, or three, or even more. Sometimes we all need a little extra action in our fantasy lives. I first started reading Menage way back when. I think the first thing I read was Maya Banks' Colton Brothers series. I think the first one was called Coulter's Woman. It was in 2007, so I know exactly when my obsession with this began. I also read a book called Marley's Choice around that same time by Laura Lee. If you haven't read Marley's Choice, it's super fucked up and wild, and you gotta go read it. You gotta read that shit. I super appreciate these trailblazers like Maya Banks and Laura Lee, who back in the early 2000s were showing us that you can put really fucked up, perverted, and awesome stuff in women's romance novels, and they will lick that shit up. I licked it up. Many of you probably licked a lot of those books right up off the bookshelf. No shame. In those particular books, in the early days, it seemed like a lot of people kept it in the family. It would be like one woman and like a guy and all his brothers, and that was like her little fuck posse. But I mean, as time has gone on, we've got all kinds of Menage shit going on. We've got motorcycle club Menage, we've got like rock band Menage, hockey team Menage, there's shapeshifter alien Menage, there is Harry Potter fan fiction Menage, one of my favorites, vampire Menage. You can have it all now, all the cock you want. You may ask, hey, Annabel, do you have any Menage books? I have Menage in all kinds of my books. Let's see, we've got Kyle and Jeremy getting it on with Nell in Comfort Object. Later in that book, we have Mason and Jessamine and Jeremy and Nell getting it on. That was a fun book to write. We've got Liam, Rubio, and Petra getting it on in Fever Dream. We've got Theo, Kelsey, Jason, and Sarah getting it on in Bound in Blue. We've got Ryan, Dave, and Sophie getting it on in Deep in the Woods. Then we've got Ryan, Dave, and Sophie again with Kat added into the mix in Fortune. There's that Menage scene in Mercy between Matthew, Lucy, Frank, Byron, and their slave called Slave. Oh, and there's that scene that starts owning Wednesday between Daniel and Vincent and Wednesday. Club Mephisto, there's probably at least a couple of Menage scenes in there, including one where I think Molly kind of gets dicked by just about every freaking dom in the club, which, let's be honest, I mean, what doesn't happen in Club Mephisto? Then there was also a Menage scene between Devin, Milo, and Ella in Deep Control. So, I mean, I've written a few. All I have to say about extra dicks in the bedroom, and extra pussies too, like, let's have everybody who wants to get involved get involved. Like, all I can say about it is it's awesome. Everything that brings readers fantasy and pleasure is awesome. Having an extra partner in the bedroom doesn't mean that the main couple doesn't love each other. It just means that they're adventurous, which is very fun, and you never know what's going to happen or whose dick is going to pop into the mix. It's fun. So let's share some Menage love. I know that there are a billion hot Menage scenes out there in the romance world. If you'd like, in the comments, you can list some of the Menage books or authors or scenes that you have enjoyed that comes to your mind when you're like, oh, what are the hottest Menage things I've ever read? Because you know why? We all want to read them, especially actually me. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you next week when we'll be getting much closer to the release of my next historical novel. I'm going to make the deadline, don't worry.